Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is Tyler Mitchell from Copy Products. I'm joined here with John Edwards from M-Files, and today we're going to discuss the transformation that we're seeing in the workplace of more and more businesses really sticking to a hybrid working environment, and it's clearly here to stay, and it's something that we are continuing to support more and more every day. So one of the challenges with working in a hybrid work environment is how do we keep critical business processes in check? How do we go from handing around paper documents, getting them physically signed off on? How do we track that process in a digital environment? And one of our favorite ways to do that is to use M-Files. So with that said, I'm going to hand things over to John Edwards to walk you through M-Files and really the power of how it can support a hybrid working environment. John, take it away.
All right, thank you. Yeah, it's funny that we're talking about this today because I was just thinking about this the other day. We have many of our clients that are on, with M-Files that are on premise, but are now looking to move to the cloud as well, just for this flexibility of being either hybrid approach or fully cloud-based to allow their employees that flexibility of working from home or from the office. And so we're seeing the trend as a lot of people are going back to the office where we're seeing a lot of those employees are actually doing a hybrid approach with the employees where some of them are working 3 days out of the week maybe, and then the other two they're working from home or vice versa. So having the ability to access your documents from anywhere is really helping everyone. It's an amazing feature that we have. So as you can see here, this is my desktop application. I have M-Files, so it gives me the ability to just click on that and get right into M-Files. I also have it on my taskbar down here below, so I just click on M-Files or the M, and I'm right in M-Files. And you can see our interface is very simplistic. We wanted to keep the design very minimized because we wanted a high adoption rate. So a lot of our users are used to going through a folder browser approach, and they're just clicking on different folders trying to find information. They're not used to a document management system. So we wanted to keep the look and feel of this system not too intimidating for any end user. So really what we want to do is we want to add documents to M-Files. We want to be able to find documents within M-Files and maybe do a little bit of collaboration while we're in here. So we wanted to keep it just as simple as that. So as you can see here on the left, I have these 4 views or windows. So one of them is my common views. This is my browsing approach to finding documents within the system. And we do have our quick search bar up here, which is more like a Google search where I can easily just put in keywords and find documents within the system. But a lot of our end users are comfortable with browsing through like a folder type structure, and we give them that ability, even though these are not static one-time folders like you would find in Windows. These are dynamic views. So they're a way of finding your information easily just by browsing through, but whenever new information comes in, then it's going to be within these views. So down, and I'll show you this in a minute, but down here is assigned to me. This is any documents or objects that I have assigned to me. So this could be in a workflow approval, maybe an invoice that needs my approval. It's going to show up down here. So it gives me that easy visible access to those documents. It could also be a one-off. Maybe somebody has a document and they just want me to take a look at it. They're preparing something and it's not part of a workflow, but they just want me to kind of check it out and give my feedback. That's going to show up down here as well. And then I have checked out to me. So we do utilize a check-in, check-out system with M-Files. So anytime I want to edit a document, I need to check it out. And what this does is just gives us that assurance that nobody else is going to edit the document at the same time. So there's no conflicts with multiple people trying to edit the same document. And then recently accessed by me. This is just any documents I've accessed within the last 30 days. So it gives me a quick view of which documents I'm currently working on. So usually when you're working on a document, you tend to work on that same document for probably a few days to a week. So we want to have easy access to those same documents. So that's why we have this recently accessed by me. So let me just show you really quickly how to find a document within the system. So if I just click on the search bar and search for proposal. So if I was looking for a specific proposal, I could just do a quick search. It's going to search the system and find everything that's related to the word proposal. Now I have 161 documents that came up with this search. And you can see here, if I click on one of these documents, like for instance, this one, I can see the metadata that pertains to it. So the metadata card here is what we're going to see when I click on a document. This is going to give me all the information that pertains to the document itself. Now this could be the class or the type of document. In this case, it's a proposal. It's going to have maybe a document date. Maybe it's assigned to a client. So in this case, it's ESTT. This is one of our clients. And this one's part of a project logo design project. So you can see all this information that's on this metadata card that's going to help me find this document later. And then we also have the name of the document up here, and then we can even see that it's a PDF. Now, if I wasn't sure if this was a document I was looking for, I could easily just open it and view it and see if that was the document. But with M-Files, we make it even easier by having this preview panel. So we just click on this and I can view the document without even having to open it up. So it makes it very quick to find the document that I'm looking for by just clicking on the document, clicking on the preview, and now I can view the document. And as you can see here, that word proposal is highlighted within the document, which means that we're not only searching, when I search proposal, it's not only searching the name of the document or the metadata of the document, but it's also searching the content of the document. So it's giving us the ability to find those documents quickly and easily. Now there's, like I said, I did a search for proposal and 161 documents came in and were part of my hit list. So I want to narrow that down a little bit. So what's something else I know about the document? So I know the customer is ESTT, so I can simply add that. And now I went from 161 down to 22. So you can see how easy it is just by knowing what it is I'm looking for. I can find that document easily. So I don't have to know where the document lies, which folder it was in, who saved it where. All I need to know is what I'm looking for, and I can find that document. And I also know it's part of a logo design project. So if I add logo in there, now I'm down to 6 documents. And there's that document that I was just looking at a minute ago. So you can see how easy it is to find a document, and the more I know about the document, the quicker it is and the easier it is to find that document. But if I go back, I want to kind of show you these views and this type of folder structure that we do utilize in M-Files. So they're not static folders. These views are based on the metadata within the document itself. So for instance, if I go to documents and I wanted to find a document by a customer, you can see here's that ESTT customer, and here's proposals. So just like that, I was able to find all of ESTT's proposal, and there's that logo design, that proposal that I was just searching before. But if we went back a little bit, and maybe I was working on a project, not really sure who the customer was, but I know the project was the logo design. So I'm going to click on that, and then I want to look for those proposals for that specific project. Well, there's that same document right there because it does relate to that project. So you can see it's not in 2 locations, it's within 1 location. I mean, it's just in M-Files, but I'm able to browse and find those documents any way that I feel. Because one person may say, I want to find proposals for a specific customer, and I can do that. Somebody else may say, well, I want to find a proposal for a specific project. Well, we can do that too. With M-Files, the magic of M-Files, we can find that document in many different ways. Now, again, we're talking about the collaboration, and this is really where it comes in, where we see the strength of this work from home environment. So a lot of times we're working from home and we have to do maybe, we have to either bring documents home with us, or we have to do maybe a VPN connection and we're pulling documents around. And then to collaborate with documents, what do? I have this document on my desktop, but I want to collaborate. I want to ask somebody for some assistance with this document. So do I send it into an email, which is insecure? And then I don't know, well, did they get the email? Did they see what I was looking to change? Well, with M-Files, we can easily do that with assignments. So I have this proposal here, this document. Maybe I'm working on this document, so I can create an assignment. And this is just as easy as just clicking on who I want it to go to and then what I want them to do. So if I wanted to create an assignment, maybe please review for me, and put some notes in there. And then I just choose who I want to assign that to. So I'm going to choose the demo user in this case, because that's who I'm logged in as. And then it's just as easy as that. I hit create and that assignment's been created. So no longer do I have to take this document out of its security of M-Files and then send it to an insecure email and then wait for them to send it back. Right now, they're going to get that assignment. They're going to see the assignment. They're going to say, okay, please review for me. They're going to see that. And then they're going to see the document that it pertains to. They can view the document, the metadata. They can view the preview of the document if they want. They could open the document for editing or changes. And then all they have to do is click on the little check mark there, maybe put some notes. Looks good. Save my change, and now it's gone. So just like that, the assignment's done. I was able to collaborate with somebody else within the organization on a document that stays within M-Files without having to move it through email. And then we also have the ability to create documents straight from here. So if I go to documents, I can create a document. I just choose the type of document I want to create, and I can create that from here. I don't have to leave M-Files to do that. But one of the nice things that we have with M-Files too is templates. So we have the ability to create templates, which gives us the structure of a document, but it takes information from the metadata that I put on there to place onto the document. And I'll give you an example of that. So for instance, we have NDAs or non-disclosure agreements that we use often. But the bulk of the NDA is structured. It's the same information over and over again. It's just a little bit of information that changes, maybe the customer and the contact person. So I can choose that template from M-Files and hit next. And then I just give it a title. Maybe I'm doing an NDA for a demo, and maybe I want to assign this to a project. So we'll choose like a website renewal. And you can see that M-Files automatically changes the permissions based on the project that I changed, because our permissions can be changed. So if you have permissions to certain documents, you can view them. If you don't have permissions, you will never see those documents. And that gives us that assurance and security of working with M-Files documents. So that's it. I'm just going to hit create here. And it's going to open up Word and show me that template that I have. And here it is. So you can see the bulk of the NDA is already outlined, but there's a little bit of information like the customer name, the address. I have the customer name down here and the contact person. All that information that I put in the metadata card is automatically pulled, placed in the proper location onto this NDA document. So it really makes it easy. There's really nothing else I have to do except simply close it, save my changes, check the document back in. And now here's my document, and you can see my Word document. Here's the information that pertains to it. Now this document, this NDA, is a legal document that I'm going to get signed by my customer. So we do want this to go through a workflow process. So this is, again, another reason why a system like M-Files helps in this hybrid environment that we're living in, or this work from home environment. It gives us the ability to do workflows, but in a digital sense. So instead of having to take this document, send it through email, which is insecure, or print it up and then place it in an inbox for my manager to approve this document, all I have to do is simply change it and say, okay, I'm done editing this document. I want my manager to approve it. So I can even put some notes for them. Hit okay, hit save, and now my manager is going to get a new assignment. You can see that down here. So my manager gets this document. They can see it's been assigned. They're also going to get an email notification, so but without the document tied to it, but a link to the document, so they can click it and then they can get right to the document in M-Files. So they can view the metadata information, they can view a preview of the document, and then they have a few options here. So within this workflow, I have the options to reject this NDA. So maybe I don't like it at all, I just want to get rid of it. I can send it back to draft, maybe give some notes and some suggestions on what changes to be made. Or in this case, I'm just going to approve to be signed. I can say looks good. And everything looks good, so I'm going to go ahead and save this. And now we have electronic signature, so this gives us an extra layer of security so that we know exactly who is signing off on this document. And this is optional. And then you'll see now that this document has been approved by my manager to be signed by the customer, part of the workflow process is to automatically convert this from a Word document to a PDF. So you can see now that this document is no longer a Word, but a PDF document. And that's all part of the workflow process. So it's not just about moving a document from one stage to another. There's other things that can be done to the document to allow us to either change the information on the document and the metadata, or even change what type of file it is, in this case from a Word to a PDF. And then at this point, I can easily just send it to a digital signature application if I wanted to, Adobe Sign, DocuSign, or if we're not using a digital signature application, then I can just right click on it and share a public link, or maybe just share it through an email. So at that point to my customer to have them sign off on the document. So you can see that workflow process from the creation of the document to having my customer sign it is as easy as just a few clicks within mFiles. And then the other nice thing with mFiles is viewing the history of the document. So if I right click and go to history, I can view all the versions of the document. This was the original creation of the document when I originally created it. This is when I sent it to my manager for approval. You can see I even added a little note here, and that note is shown here, please review. And then this is when my manager approved it. It was converted to a PDF at this point. And then we have all the information and that digital signature stamp within here as well, showing who signed off on the document, the date, and the time. So we know exactly when it was signed off on. And if I have rights, I could always revert back to an older version of the document. So I never have to worry about having multiple copies of the same document just to ensure I don't overwrite something. Everything, all the version control is done automatically through mFiles. And you can easily see that within the metadata card as well. You can see this has 3 versions of the document. So what's nice about our workflows as well is we have the ability to put time restraints on them. So if I sent this document off to be approved by my manager, and then for some reason my manager, maybe I give them 1 day, part of the workflow is you have 24 hours to sign off on this document. If it's not done within 24 hours, then it could send notifications to somebody else that maybe their manager can get notifications saying this document has been waiting for approval. We want to get this to the customer. So can you please escalate this or sign off on it yourself? So it gives us that ability to know exactly where the workflow is at any time. And then if there's any delay in the workflow, then we can send notifications out so that we can make sure that the document is taken care of, which is unlike email. When I send an email, if I had this to approve by my manager and I send an email out, it may get lost in my manager's. Maybe he's on vacation one day and it gets lost or something like that. They'll never know that I maybe even sent it, and the delay to get that signed off on could take some time. Or with mFiles, it's all taken care of. Another nice feature with the work from home environment is the ability to create other objects with mFiles. So it's not just about documents when we're talking about mFiles. There's other objects that we can create here. And for one for instance, is support tickets. And this is something that we have in here. So I'm working from home, but I'm using company equipment. And so maybe there's something that I need some assistance with. So I need to create a support ticket. And I can do that from mFiles. So I just create a support ticket, maybe put a subject, need some help. And then I could have a drop down, maybe a support type, just general support, need web access. And just like that, I could create this ticket. And this creates a ticket, and then our IT support is going to get this ticket. And then they'll see that it's a new ticket, and then they can open the ticket. So it is part of a workflow. So now I'm going to see that they're going to see it's a new ticket. As soon as they see this ticket, they can open the ticket, maybe put some notes. I'll work on this one. So they can add some notes when they open the ticket. And now as the creator of the ticket, they're going to get notification that the ticket has been opened. And this is all part of mFiles. And what's nice about this is that workflow process can go from open, and then they can, when the ticket's done, they can close it. But it allows me to do everything from one environment. And we could take a look really quickly at that workflow state. So this is that ticket. So we have the new ticket, and then we just have it go to open and close. And you can see how easy it is to create these workflows. So I have multiple workflows here. I have that approval process up here for the invoice, but we can have multiple different workflows, all tied to different documents. So every document is going to have a little bit different workflow that it's going to need. And we can maybe make a copy of a workflow and just change it around a little bit, or we can create a new workflow from scratch, and then all the notifications can be tied to this workflow as well. So that's another way that working from home can really help us with a system like this, giving us the ability to access those documents from anywhere. And it's not only the application that I have here that I can utilize. We have a web client, which gives us the ability to view all our documents within here. Here's the metadata. If I want to view a preview of the document, I can simply click on the preview tab and view a preview. So if I don't have the application on my desktop, I can simply go to a website. And we have mobile app for both iOS and Android as well. And these are just a lot of the ways that we can collaborate with others and have that hybrid environment. And what's nice about that is maybe right now you have a lot of documents within folder structures and you don't want to move them all over to a system like this. We also have the ability to tie in your existing network folders into M-Files, giving us the power to find searches through those folders and browse those folders. You can see down here on the left, I have these shared folders. I also have this tied to my SharePoint because I have some documents within there. So if I go to my shared folders, I could browse those folders. And these are local folders that are on my network. So if I went here, you could see, go to my C drive, and I have my shared folders. These are all the documents that I'm going to view in M-Files. So even though they're static network folders on my computer, I'm going to be able to find those documents. You can see here that same folder structure that I had here. So I could easily find those documents. So if you have a lot of documents that you want to be able to share with your end users that are remote, but they're on network folders that are local, even though you're going cloud, you could still have the ability to give them search capabilities and finding those documents and be able to view those documents. Here's some photos I have. If I do a quick preview, I can see the elephants. And these are all documents that are within my local network, but I'm able to collaborate with those documents and even do searches and find documents within those folders. So that's another way where this hybrid environment is really easy to accomplish with a system like M-Files. Right. Let's see here. Tyler?
Hey, John, I'm monitoring our questions coming in, but I think you've done a really great job of addressing some of them preemptively. I had somebody asking about the DocuSign integration, and I noticed you already pointed that out, that you can do that right within M-Files as well as sharing these documents externally inside of M-Files as well. I think that's a question we get a lot, and it's surprising the amount of different applications that M-Files is really friendly with. And I think expanding on that, another question I get a lot too is, can this integrate with an existing ERP or a CRM?
Yeah, it can. And like I was showing you before, M-Files is not all about documents, it's about objects as well. So with the CRM, such as, for instance, Salesforce, we can, if you have clients within Salesforce, we can pull those clients into M-Files to allow us to do a higher level collaboration with those documents. For instance, this proposal here that I was talking about earlier, you can see all this information that I have. I have a client tied to this and a project tied to this. But if you can see this little arrow next to this document, if I click on that, you can see all this information that's tied to this document. So that client, ESTT, is tied to this document, and I can view that client information here. So this client was in our Salesforce, and we can easily integrate with the Salesforce and pull that information into here. And it's not just Salesforce, but other CRM systems that we can collaborate with to pull that information. It can go two ways if you wanted to. So if I made a change within mFiles, maybe I changed the phone number, then we can have that reflect in our CRM as well. So we can have those, the ability to keep content up to date within both systems. And what this does is gives me the ability to find, if I wanted this client information, I'm working on this proposal, but I just want to quickly call the customer. So you can see this little arrow here. This is an easy way. If I just want to call the customer, I just click on that, and then it pulls up their contact information within mFiles, and here's their number. So I don't have to switch back and forth between a CRM and mFiles to be able to do that. And a lot of our customers are seeing that maybe they don't even need a CRM. We can, take care of that as well. So it's really up to you as how you want to do that. In this NDA document that I created earlier, you can see that I had a contact person. So this has a lot more information that's tied to it. It has a project, a contact, the approval, the internal approval, that demo user who is the internal approval. And then I have the contact, Sandra Williams. So if I wanted to contact Sandra, I can just simply click on her name here, and I can view all of Sandra's information that's tied to that document. So that's part of the collaboration that we can do with those systems. And it's not just CRMs, but other invoicing systems, a lot of other document systems that we have where you have content within there and we want to collaborate with mFiles. We could, a lot of times we can collaborate with those systems and pull that information and do a sync.
I think it's also worth mentioning too, John. You went over how easy it is to live within mFiles to get everything done, but we've worked with some organizations. We'll take Salesforce for instance, where they work very much inside of that platform, but they want to use mFiles as an engine on the back end to manage those documents and retention cycles and any rules and workflow. And there's a great way to use mFiles within that tool as well. You can live inside of Salesforce, but still have the power of mFiles working in tandem with it. And I think it's one of the great examples of how flexible mFiles is as a platform. How it's really designed to work around your existing workflows and your existing processes, and to really just enhance what you already have.
Yeah, so to that point, here's our Salesforce, and here's that customer that I was talking about, ESTT. And again, any information that I pull from here is going to, or any information that I change here is automatically going to reflect in my mFile system. So all I have to do is change it once. But we do like living in Salesforce. I mean, it's a great application. So a lot of our end users want to just stay in here. They're doing their all their account information within here. They don't need to go back and forth into mFiles. So we do have that collaboration. As you can see down here, when I scroll down, this is a view into mFiles. So it's not that I'm pulling these documents over into Salesforce. I'm just simply having it embedded within here as a view. So now I can easily find those documents. I'm looking at ESTT documents. So these are all documents that pertain to ESTT. And I can easily click on a document and view that document right through Salesforce, just like you were talking about. And if I change accounts, maybe I went to a different account than like City of Chicago, now I can view all of City of Chicago's information within Salesforce. And then I scroll down and I'm only going to see documents that pertain to City of Chicago. So it's just like that. We can have that easy collaboration. And like you said, if you're living within Salesforce, that's great, but your documents should reside within a secure environment such as mFiles, and we can do that. We can utilize both these tools, and we can have this same embedded look and feel with Teams as well.
It's really good, John. Thank you for going into that on the fly. That's impressive. So I think that about wraps it up for any of the questions here, and we're coming up on our half hour. So I think this is a good place to put a pause on this, and I'll mention if anyone has any questions or wants to dive into this, feel free to reach out to your account manager. We'd be happy to show you what mFiles can do specific to your environment. But with that, thank you very much, Sean. It was a very good presentation, and I hope everyone has a great day.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your time.
All right, thanks, John.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.